what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1996 Toyota TownAce turbo diesel. Below me is a 2.2 liter turbo diesel inline 4 as well as a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here turbo diesel TownAce for a couple of reasons, but mainly the fact that I reviewed a TownAce last year. But that was a completely different vehicle. It was a truck, it was a utility vehicle. And this could not be further from that truck while still sharing the same name. So, two very different sides of the same coin. I'm excited to share those differences with you. This video was filmed in the beautiful sunshine state of Florida. If you would like to submit your vehicle no matter where you are in the country, please head on over to zackpradel.com where there's a quick and easy submission form. And the next time I travel the country, I might be coming to you. So let's get back to that 2.2 liter turbocharged diesel underneath me. That's right, it's actually mounted in between the driver and the passenger underneath the center console. It's a little bit weird, however, this was more common for the TownAce, Hi-Ace, and other cab-over vehicles like this. I've driven a couple of vehicles like it, which means you actually sit kind of in front of the front wheels, but that's a story for another day. It cranks out about 91 horsepower. It's not a fast engine. It's not a fast vehicle. However, this was sort of the workhorse of Toyota at the time. And like I said, it was put in the other more utility applications. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. I don't really feel any certain way about it. 4-speed automatics were definitely the bread and butter of Toyota at the time, so I'm pretty fine with it. Last but not least, the TownAce is 4-wheel drive, and there's a button to lock it into 4-wheel drive that we'll talk about a little bit later on. So how does it feel to actually drive a TownAce? Well, like I said, that cab-over feel is a little strange. However, I do like driving it. It drives nice and smooth, and although the diesel isn't powerful by any means, it does keep up with modern traffic, and that's all I can really ask it to do. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have very plain and simple gauges. Toyota of this era are known for doing this, which means that they're easy to read, and it's very nice. However, they're not anything flashy. Off to the left, I have the speedometer. In the center, I get my fuel and coolant temperature, and off to the right, I have my tachometer. The steering wheel doesn't have anything on it. It just says TownAce, and that's pretty much it. Off to the right, I do have a climate control vent as well as my fog light switch. And moving out of the door, I have my power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents, a digital clock, which is really nice, my hazard switch, rear defrost, and my rear climate control on and off. So I can toggle on and off whether the rear climate gets to be used by those occupants or not, which is a fun little feature. Then we have the radio, which is pretty typical for the 90s, but below that we do have pop-out cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Toyota TownAce, and unfortunately, it does not pass. I didn't think it would pass. I mean, these things are tiny, and they pop out of the dash. I don't think any cup holder that pops out of the dash has ever passed, ever. So, unfortunately, it's a fail. Off to the right of that, I do have my climate controls. So, very basic, where to send it up top. Then below that, we have temperature. Below that is the recirculating, and at the very bottom is fan speed, and of course, a button for AC. However, off to the right of that, we have some interesting buttons. So the first one up at the top is the idle up. So because it's a diesel, to get the juices flowing, you can actually hit this button and it'll just raise the idle to sort of warm things up. But then down below that, we have the 4-wheel drive button. So it's all-time 4-wheel drive. The computer kind of decides what needs what power where. However, you can actually lock this in 4-wheel drive if you're in mud, snow, whatever it might be. Whatever the situation calls for, you can actually lock it, which is a really nice feature. Then I have a cigarette lighter and ashtray, and then there's this nice gap in between the dash and the center console, and I love that about cab over vans. But moving on to the center console, we have the shifter off to the right, very traditional Toyota shifter, nothing to write home about. And off to the left, I have my 4-wheel drive settings if I want to put it into 4 high or 4 low. Then I have 2 little cubby spaces and the center console. And then we got to talk about the seats. The seats are finished in this fantastic, nice Japanese cloth from the 90s. I'm not sure what specifically makes it so good, but it is really, really comfortable. And this was across the board. Subaru, Mazda, Toyota, Honda, all from this era. We're using really, really good fabrics, and I really like it. However, the cool seating is actually in the back of the TownAce, so let's hop back there and do some backseat reviews. All right, so we're starting this backseat review from the outside because you got to see this awesome sliding door. Slides open like this, and then we can step right in, and this is the back area of the Toyota TownAce. Notice all the curtains, which is really, really cool, and there's even this partition curtain with some vents up above. This is really, really neat because this is really a conversation pit. You get this really cool view of the driver. I mean, this feels like a private limo almost, or something of the nature, especially with all the curtains. We can close this up over here. And then over here we have some climate controls, which is really nice, and a cigarette lighter. I have ashtrays all around, of course. Seat belts, the whole nine. This is really, really cool. And it's really such a unique space back here, which we didn't really get in America past like the 70s maybe. I guess the closest thing I could think of was the Buick Roadmaster wagon with the rear facing seats in the 90s, but this is that to a whole nother level, which is really, really cool to see. So I am absolutely in love with this back seat area in the TownAce. I think this is a huge, huge benefit and just something cool and unique, and I love cool and unique things. All right, so around the very back of the Toyota TownAce, pop this up. It's a huge door. I mean, really massive door. Not that hard to open though. Once we are back here, we really don't get anything. There's no ground storage. There's a little storage over here for tools and such like that, but other than that, you don't really get any extra storage space. There's a little bit, you know, you could throw your beach bag back here, what have you, but don't expect a whole lot. And then you could just bring that right back down. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I love the look of the TownAce. I think it's really, really special and really encompasses a sort of spaceship design. Walking around it, these smooth edges, the rounded front and flat back with the little wing at the back, I think it looks really, really space agey and has really kept up with modern times. Does this look like a brand new Toyota? No, of course not. But I think it looks really, really good for its day, and I think it still remains looking good 30 years later, which is definitely nice to see. However, there's two more things I want to talk about with the exterior. First of all, this color, it's actually a dark green, which I really love. But I do want to talk about the taillights, because as I was looking at them, a little light went off in my head, and I realized that they look identical to a Series 4 second-gen Mazda RX-7. I now can't unsee it, so, well, you have to see it now too. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving a more grown-up version of the Toyota TownAce? Like I mentioned earlier, I've driven the pickup truck, and that was a utility truck. That was meant to get things to places, and that's it. No creature comforts, nothing. This is the exact opposite of that. It's comfortable. It's a cushy cruiser for you and your friends to take to the beach or up to the mountains, have a picnic. It's a leisure mobile. Now, like I said, I've also driven the Hi-Ace. And the Hi-Ace is basically the big brother to the TownAce. I know I'm throwing a lot of aces around. And that was like an ultra luxury people mover. But that to me was a little too big, a little too monstrous for me to really consider daily driving. Parking is going to be an issue with that vehicle. Although it does fit in a spot, it's not very happy about it. This TownAce is a little bit smaller, and I like that about it. I like that I could, in theory, buy this, daily drive it, take my friends up to the mountain, have a picnic in the back, use those swivel chairs, spin them around, have a nice conversation, go back home, all with one solid, reliable vehicle. I love that. I love when cars are able to be used for multiple purposes and do all of them really, really well. And so I don't really have any complaints about the TownAce. Okay, the diesel's slow, but it's a 4-cylinder diesel. It's not supposed to be fast. That's my only, I guess, gripe, but if it had a bigger engine, I think it'd be too much to handle. So really, at the end of the day, I don't have any complaints. This is a really, really cool van, and I just wanted to show it to you, if I'm honest, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Huge thank you to Matt and Tim from Obscure Rides. Obscure Rides is absolutely awesome. They let me take this car out today. They have a bicycle shop as well as classic cars, and they're always doing something fun and interesting. If you're in the St. Augustine, Florida area, please go check them out. Their information is found in the description below. I cannot thank them enough. They've been absolutely awesome through this whole process, and they've been a huge asset to the channel, so please go show them some love. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.